Hi, Baylor School of Education. Thank you so much for joining us in the second video of our Education Career Pathways series, where we are inviting professionals to share their knowledge with you of how they are using their degree in their personal life and career, just to give you some ideas of other opportunities you can pursue as an education major. And so our guest for this video is Ashleigh Barrett. So Ashleigh, if you just want to go ahead, introduce yourself, what you're doing, a little bit of your education background, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Hi, good afternoon, Baylor. My name is Ashleigh Barrett. I am currently an assistant principal at an elementary school in the greater Houston area. This is my fourth year as an assistant principal. And before becoming an assistant principal, I spent 3 years as an instructional coach at the elementary level. I spent 2 years as a middle school ESL teacher and instructional coach. And then I also spent the majority of my education career as a fifth grade teacher for a combined total of 15 years of experience. So I'm excited to help pour into you all today. And before that, I had a degree in interdisciplinary studies, and I also have a master's degree in curriculum and instruction, and then my principal certification.
Wonderful. So can you talk to me a little bit more about why you chose education as a field? What kind of spoke to you about this work?
Definitely. I chose education because growing up, I'm from a little small suburb right outside of Houston, and there was never a lot of representation from my teachers, my administrators, when I was going through the education system. A lot of my adults that I had interacted with wasn't familiar with our culture or wasn't represented at all. I didn't have an experience where I saw myself or was able to connect with a lot of my teachers and administrators. So it kind of planted a seed for me that made me want to give back. I'm actually servicing the community that I grew up very close to. So we are probably maybe 5 miles away from each other. So I'm not exactly in the district that I attended school in, but it's very similar. It's 5 miles down the street, and we are, very similar in demographics and dynamics. And so it was really important to me to represent for the community and for my students, and for them to know, like, I am from the same area you're from. I know the stores. You'll see me at the grocery store, and that I am involved in the community. And I wanted to make a difference to let them know that you too could be the same thing and give back to your community.
That's amazing. I love a full circle story.
Yes, definitely.
It's brought you back to where you started. Can you maybe talk me through some of the transferable skills you got from either your undergraduate degree or the master's level, or maybe some of the certifications you did, and how you use them in your professional life now?
Far as my education degree, I use that all while being a teacher, an instructional coach, and even now as an administrator. Although my role is changed and it looks a little bit different, there are always times where I'm pulling back from my skills of teaching to help students, or to coach a teacher through how to teach a lesson or a lesson plan, or some of the classroom management skills. So the background and having a strong background in education definitely helps to make the transition easier. I feel like, because I have things to pull from in my toolkit to support teachers, as opposed to always outsourcing them to other professional developments or seeking other resources. Well, sometimes that's appropriate, but a lot of times when you are working with students and working with teachers, it's in the coaching phase. So to be able to use tools that I have personally experienced, as well as to be able to relate to them, definitely speaks volume and is invaluable in the coaching process of nurturing and growing teachers. With students, it helps a lot because we are often able to have conversations about, what are you working on? What are you learning today about context clues? Tell me a little bit more about the obtuse angle. So being able to have academic conversations with them definitely opens up the airways for them to discuss things with you, as well as for you to be a resource and a helper for them. There's often times where, you can lend your support to say, come see me if you need some help with work, or I'm able to support some of my teachers if they're feeling a little bit frustrated with something. I'm like, I can teach them. If you tell me what you guys are working on, let me know, and then I'll be able to help support you in that process. And so, because the goal is for student success and the goal is for teachers to grow. So a lot of times I'm pulling back from those skills that I've experienced and that I've used as well as a teacher and an educator in my years. And the same thing as was an instructional coach. Being able to be an effective teacher is how I was able to be an effective coach and an effective administrator. So definitely defining and fine-tuning your personal craft will speak volume and take you places in being effective in why you choose to be an educator, because it transitions through every career that I've had and every path that I've been in. Because when you're an administrator and you're going into classes to observe and to evaluate teachers, you have to have some background on the pedagogy as well as the content and the lesson deliverance for teachers to be able to fully understand if they're having effective instruction at that time.
That's awesome. So for some of our students that may be considering the administration route, can you talk us through some of your daily tasks and activities and what that job looks like?
Absolutely. No day ever looks the same.
I think.
But I do definitely try to plan every day out, and I set goals for myself every day. But I will tell you, in my district, as an elementary assistant principal, I wear a couple of hats, so we can kind of talk about those. I am an assistant principal. I'm also the testing coordinator. So those roles, and depending on the district that you're working in, it looks a little bit different, because some districts don't use assistant principals as testing coordinators and some do. But I think it's a great and tremendous benefit to be able to also lead my team and my staff through testing. And then we kind of go through it together, because it's a whole it's an experience, and it's different. It varies, and things are changing right now with COVID, but to be able to lead and guide my team through it, it's an honor and a privilege. But on a day-to-day basis, I work on evaluating teachers, so doing my best to get in classrooms as much as possible. Sometimes it's formal, like walkthroughs and 45-minute observations. And a lot of times it's informal, where I'm just going through and observing how they're delivering instruction, classroom management, supporting the teachers and supporting the students. I'm also responding to parents' concerns a lot. So if they're calling or emailing, or they come by for a parent conference, then I'm sitting down and just trying to troubleshoot with them and service our community as best as possible. I also attend ARDS, quite a few ARDS a week, or staffings for our special ed population on campus. I'm also the LPAC administrator, so I facilitate the LPAC program, which services our bilingual ESL students. So I'm making sure their needs are met, and the LPAC process is a revolving door. So as students come in, we have to see where they are in the process. Have they been tested? Have they came from a school in Texas? Then that kind of domino affects us for what we'll do next with them coming on campus. And then from there, lunch duty happens. And just, checking in. I do have quite a few students on a caseload that I check in with informally, just because they may need some additional support throughout the day or the week. I check in on teachers. I try to check in a lot on my first year teachers, my rookie teachers, my new to campus teachers, so they may have transferred from a previous district. And then right now, because we are in testing season, my day looks a lot it's filled with TELPAS. It's filled with preparing for our upcoming fourth grade STAR writing test that's going to be on April the 6th. So a lot of meetings, meeting with teachers, meeting with my testing team, and planning and prepping, and also at the district level to make sure that we're all on the same page to execute a successful testing session.
Man, so many hats you're wearing. You were not kidding with that.
Definitely.
Can you talk us through a little bit about some of the training and graduate programs you went through and why you chose to pursue those degrees or certifications?
Absolutely. So in the beginning, when I just thought I wanted to be a teacher, I just, my heart was for changing, being effective change for students and the youth. So as I became a teacher, I loved it. I mean, I loved it, but I had amazing administrators who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time, who encouraged me to pursue my master's degree. And so at the time, I was like, I will never be an administrator. I would love to do curriculum because my passion was for teaching. So I decided to go the route for curriculum and instruction. And in my eyes, I always saw myself as someone who would be like a program director for curriculum, executive director for curriculum. And so I went that route. And that route allowed me to become an instructional coach. And so I had the opportunity to coach a lot of teachers from pre-K through fifth grade. My focus is mostly third through fifth, but I have coached pre-K through third as well. And so that process took me into working with adults and really seeing that it's different from working with students, but it's similar in the sense that they need nurturing, they need development, they need coaching, they need guidance as well. And when you touch one teacher and help a teacher become successful, you touch more students. So that also planted the seed and nurtured my desire to just help more people, help adults, because we're all here because someone tugged on our hearts to want us to give back, and we all have a passion for learning and for the youth. And so it just inspired me to touch more adults and more students. And so I went the route of principal certification. It was about a 9-month program. And through my principal certification program, I learned so much about school law, school budget, a lot of the legal side of things that we have to do as an administrator, which is so helpful. Policy and procedures are so important. And as an administrator, it's so important for us to know the policy and procedures and the laws, because a lot of times my staff, their heart is in the right place. They will always want to do what's best for students. But sometimes there are laws that we have to follow in the route to doing that and making sure that we're following the correct policies and procedures. So that took me to being a principal certification, and then I became an administrator after I finished my program. So this is my 4th year, and through this position, in the route to get here, I guess I should say, my district provided opportunities for aspiring administrators academies. And so those academies definitely solidified the idea that I would like to be an administrator. They taught us a tremendous information about how to be an administrator in our district. They gave us trainings. They allowed us an opportunity to shadow administrators while we were in the process of growing and developing, and also just networking with so many other administrators in the district. And so I used my peers as resources. We all collaborate. We work very closely together. And then now that I have been an administrator for a few years, our district also provides us with monthly administrator meetings so that they can give us trainings on different topics every month, but just to ensure that we're still learning, we're still growing as administrators as well. And then I also try to attend different leadership conferences in the summer or Christmas break. Whenever they come up and they pique my interest, I try to continue to learn and grow and nurture my skills as an administrator. And just attend trainings for my teachers as well. I try to go as many with them as well, just so I'm abreast to the new information, because the TEKS change, curriculum changes, and things are changing. So to stay abreast to the things that's going on in the classroom, I also attend a lot of their trainings as well.
Amazing. So as we're kind of wrapping up our time together, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a student who is currently pursuing an education degree?
I would advise you to know your why. Know why you're doing it. In a perfect world, we want to change the world and we want to be effective, and that's great. But education changes every day, and it's not always an easy route. A lot of the students that I service, they have hard lives. They come through situations that are not picture perfect. So in that, there can be frustration because a lot of them are not on grade level. A lot of them are not where they need to be for their math levels. So it can be frustrating as a teacher, but what's your why? The why is what keeps us pushing. The why is what makes you strive harder for them and advocate for them so that you can be successful with them. So yes, being a teacher is an amazing career and you receive so much from it, but you pour out and you deposit into these students each and every day. So my advice would be for an aspiring teacher is know your why and stay in that purpose while you're going through the process. And even when you're 15 years down the line, your why is what keeps you motivated and to give back as much as you wanted to the first year, as you will hopefully the 15th year and the 30th year, because they need us. The youth definitely needs teachers who care and are passionate. However, it is a hard job. But if your why is to change and you have your personal reasons, you'll be as effective as you can. And that's what matters because they see your heart.
I love that. Yeah, we've definitely been hearing that theme of the importance of pouring into yourself too, as much as you're pouring into other people so you can continue to do the work. So I appreciate that wisdom.
Yes, definitely. It's the most important thing because there are hard days. There are, and with COVID, it's giving us a different experience with the students because we still have about 30% of my population virtual right now. And so it's different for us. We're navigating untreaded territory, but my teachers are thriving because their passions are there. They are motivated for students to learn and be successful. I mean, there's so many great things happening on our campus and I'm so proud of my teachers, but it's hard days, you know, and a lot of them have come by and they're like, it's hard. Today was a hard day. And just wanting the students to be here, but not having the ability to make them be here is very challenging in itself because you have a student who's not reading on grade level but they're not here to learn every day. But when you push through and you say, I do the best that I can, I'm reaching out, I'm providing resources, I'm mailing things to their home, I'm providing stuff in the front office that they can pick up so that they can continue to work at home, pushes you further so that you know that students can learn even if they're not in the best situation necessarily. They know we care and we're here and we are hoping to make a change at the end of the day.
Well, we really appreciate all the work that you've been doing in this last year of a pandemic, and it's really making a difference. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Baylor students, I hope that this conversation has been as enjoyable for you to watch as it was for me to participate in, and I hope that you will continue to join us for the rest of the videos in the Education Career Pathways panel series.